15 plus years in education, what is one lesson you still carry from your very first year of teaching?
Even after 15 years of my school experience as a teacher, as coordinator, now as a principal, is one has to learn, one has to unlearn, and one has to relearn. With the passage of time, it must have been increased because now
What are the signs that schools often overlook?
parental expectations. The real problem these days is not solving the equation of algebra, it's solving the anxiety.
What do you want to say on self-publishing AI platform like Bookalooza?
We cannot make our children to keep the device away from themselves. So let us engage them in something productive. There should be certain rewards, and a platform like this is doing both the things.
How does mentorship differ from you are guiding students versus guiding teachers?
When we guide the
What is your take on digital versus physical classroom in post-pandemic India?
I would
We are joined by Ms. Priya Gambhir, Principal at St. Andrew's World School, CBSE Master Trainer, Skill Innovation Ambassador, Wellness Coordinator, and someone who is quietly reshaping what leadership in education should look like. With 15 plus years of experience, a PhD in progress, and a passion for training, mentoring, and well being, she is not just checking boxes, she is rewriting the checklist. So, without wasting time, let's get started. Welcome, Priya ma'am, to the Voice of Leadership podcast by Orange House.
thank you very much for the opportunity.
15 plus years in education, what is one lesson you still carry from your very first year of teaching?
My very first year of teaching had been a very fabulous experience. I still remember walking in the classroom, and the same thing which I carry always, even after 15 years of my school experience as a teacher, as coordinator, now as a principal, is one has to learn, one has to unlearn, and one has to relearn. So, the kind of preparation for that first class and the kind of efforts which we have invested, I think it's equally the same, or rather, with the passage of time, it must have been increased because now a lot more a teacher has to be prepared.
Yes.
And if the teachers are preparing as a leader, you have to be an example.
Yeah, of course. From English literature to education leadership, how did your double masters shape your leadership philosophy?
You know, my leadership philosophy lies in learning and growing with the time. I did my post graduation in English literature because I really wanted to understand the nuances of, different literature pieces, and especially the grammar part, and how the origin of different literature comes up, and what exactly had been the impact of the same in the society. But when I have started pursuing my post graduation education, that has been my real love, I would say. I was really overwhelmed with a lot more delight to delve deeper into the philosophies of education, the different schools and thoughts of our Indian philosopher leaders. And now, when I reflect back to my post graduation journey, I could see that it's the whole circle. So, when we have read about education technology, when we have read about the Bloom's taxonomy, we are actually implementing it now with the advent of NEP. So I would say that whatever you learn in the course of time, that never, goes obsolete. You need to see your, ecosystem. You need to see the things around, and you need to connect the dots. When we say connecting the dots with the, what is happening in the industry right now, but at the same time, we should not forget the roots. So I would say those years which I have invested in upgrading myself and getting the degrees, double masters, I'm really proud of, and I'm still having those books with me.
Okay,
And yeah, I
that's great, really
not only
great.
adore it, sometimes you really sit and you refer, and you see that nothing is new. When I see the NEP document, and when I see those dissertations which I have prepared in my post graduation of education, it speaks the same philosophy. It's just that this NEP is the Old gift in a new wrapper. And yes, we have to adore it.
That means you said like preparation. So, preparation, if the cup of a teacher is full, then only she can pour to others' cup.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You have worked on academics stress in urban setting. What are the signs that schools often overlook?
Parental expectations.
Okay.
Starting from grade pre nursery to grade 12th, knowingly, unknowingly, we as a parent or I as a leader, we both can see that children are being stressed a lot because of the parental expectations.
Yes.
The real problem these days is not solving the equation of algebra, it's solving the anxiety. And I think if we will going to start counseling the parent, half of our problem will going to be solved. If I would going to talk about the stress in urban settings, you will be amazed to know that these children have been given a lot more as a platter,
Yes.
which they have
True.
not yet valued.
Yes.
So let's create the environment where parents, teachers, stakeholders will going to sit back and will going to talk. We need to do lot of talking, and of course we need to do lot of listening as well. And then the bonds which are fading away, certainly we need to rekindle it, and we'll see that that stress would going to fade away. Second thing which I have observed during the course of my entire PhD in education, that too in the academic stress, that there is lot more self expectation, because children are more dwelled into the real world, where their role models are those entrepreneurs, or rather few examples, who have done something different, but they have not seen the journey, the kind
The
of
struggle,
the
basically.
struggle,
Yeah.
which these children, or rather these people, have
Successful
undergone.
people had
Right.
already. Yeah.
So I think the entire picture is to be focused upon. So in order to sort this problem, parents, school, they both need to come to rescue of these children, and of course this stress would certainly going to be busted soon.
Your favorite actor?
My favorite actor of all time is R Madhavan.
Your favorite food?
My favorite food, I would say dum aloo, because I'm married in a Kashmiri family, so yes.
Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
Oh, why?
Yes, I love the way each and every character is being projected there, and I love the way the direction has happened. Each and every character has reached to its fate, and that's what life is all about.
What do you want to say on self publishing AI platform like Book Aluza?
The day right now, we cannot think our world without AI.
Yes.
So a platform like these are giving a hand holding, rather I would say it's a scaffolding to all of us. We cannot keep the device away. We cannot make our children to keep the device away from
Yes.
themselves. So let us engage them in something productive. There should be certain rewards, and a platform like this is doing both the things. So a boon at the time, and a lot of destructions, and lot of I would say distractions are there. So of course a great
So it's a
contributor.
creativity platform.
Yes, I know. I mean, you will see children doing a lot of creative work at the digital interface, of course, and that is what children are looking forward to. And when you will going to give these kind of opportunity to the children, you never know their vocation becomes their profession.
Yes, yes, of course. If you had to rename the school bell sound, what would you replace it with?
Okay, so my new school bell sound will going to be it's thrill, sway, get up, next period.
Okay.
So a little warm up after every period is required. That's what I believe. So, you get really tired. It's a very mundane
Yes.
kind of routine. So I feel that when the bell will going to happen, children should stand up, they should take a little stroll, they should have a little swing, and here and there, and then they should sit back and get geared up for the next
Means they
period.
should get refreshed.
Yes.
What excites you most about the national education policy?
Experiential learning. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I love the integration. I love the experiential learning part of national education policy, and, of course, the research. I have been really awestruck to see classroom turning into experimental platforms, you know, the labs coming alive on teacher's table, an English teacher, taking the text in grade 12th by showing the clip of Tom and Jerry because she just wanted to connect the dot. She just wanted to showcase that how the, cat and dog, this rat fight is all about the world, which is, we trapped in. Experiential learning is something which I am really, really happy about. Then I'll definitely going to stress upon the research part. A class first child is indulged in research. They are interviewing their grandparents, parents, the help, even siblings, and then they are connecting it with what they are, studying from the textbook, even the drawing room corners. Everything which is a part of their life is being, alive. So indulging in the research, actually giving them the exposure of what they have to have it in the professional life. So, right from the roots, we are preparing the child for the global platform. We are giving them the vision rather to only talk about the marks. We are, I mean, with the advent of the NEP, it's all about making a mark.
Yes.
It's about finding out your own passion. It's about working on the competencies. And the best part of NEP, I mean, there are so many I can just count. Upskilling of the teachers. So, in the document, we are also talking about how the teacher is supposed to upskill with a different kind of trainings, not only training the research papers or maybe a kind of dissertation. So, avenues are multiple. So, it's not only the textbook, it's
Textbook,
not only
yes.
the, you know, NEP has given us a vision that it's not only about covering the syllabus, it's about uncovering the syllabus.
Like we are not preparing the students to write just 3 hours exams. Now we are
Absolutely.
preparing the students to write their life
Yes.
on their own.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
How do you bring art integration into subjects like math or science?
Art integration is all around us. Even the saris which you and me are wearing, the
Yes,
bindis which we are
I
putting,
believe the same.
the entire room is filled with art integration. When we talk about the subjects called maths, what is not being calculated, even the length and the breadth of the table, from the sofas, from each and everything. So if we going to do this inclusivity where children themselves will going to take these kind of the things and whatever learning they have it in the class, they will leverage that learning with the exemplars, be it a different kind of mandala art or any indigenous form of art. So that's how we leverage the understanding of maths. When I talk about science, it's not only about the experiments which we have been having in the laboratories, be it biology lab or physics lab or chemistry lab, from the classroom to the kitchen, isn't it? And then the
Yes,
environment
that is also an
everywhere.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, so science and maths are the two major subjects which can be very well integrated with the medium of art education. Rather, art integration can happen at any level and every level. It's just the horizon of the teacher which has to be broadened up. She need to take the case studies or the problem from the real world of the children, so that children will be able to visualize it. It's all
Yes.
about visuals, isn't it? So if that could happen, and if the teacher can be given handholding in that, children will definitely going to get the benefit. So art is everywhere. It's just that a teacher need to be working very meticulously, I would say, to bring it alive in the classroom, and rather to give that kind of vision where child would certainly going to say that my Pythagoras state theory is right live here in this room, and I can just bring it into a 3D shape. Why
Yes.
not? So that's what the art integration does to us.
And I think teaching itself is the biggest art.
It is, of course.
How do you nurture leadership in young students?
I make them believe that they would be heard. I make them
Okay.
believe that they really need to work on their competencies, that they can lead. I have handful of students in my school who seems to be a potential leaders. We are having our investiture ceremony planned soon. So in my school, we are going with the entire voting process where children are coming, they are doing their own campaigning, They are pitching why they should be voted. So today, if I talk about St. Andrew World School Vasundhara's campus, it's all brimming with the campaigns and ballots, and speakers are taking the center stage, and they are coming up with their full potential. So for the leader, you really need to believe on yourself. You really need to show the world that you are competent enough, and for that, let's celebrate yourself and have your you need to wear your own confidence, and that's what we are instilling in the school, St. Andrews World School Vasundhara.
If there was a subject called Sarcasm 101, would you pass with flying colors or flunk spectacularly?
I'll definitely flunk. I'll be rather going in a negative marking because I do not know sarcasm at all. I'm a person who speak, straight from the heart, no sarcasm, and I would certainly not going to be rather appearing for this exam. I would give a miss to it.
Okay. If students could vote for a principal's day off, what would they catch you doing?
They would catch me doing binging, on documentaries because I
Okay.
love to watch, short documentaries, be it on Netflix or on YouTube. And secondly, they'll certainly going to catch me reading one of my, favorite book these days. I'm like a great fan of Devdutt Patnaik, and I'm reading Sati Savitri by him. So yeah,
Okay.
these are the two, things which I would really like to catch up when I'm having principles off.
What was your childhood dream job and how far off was it from being a principal?
My childhood dream job was to lead. Being a principal, you are a leader.
Yes.
And it actually, it was something which I've never thought of would going to happen to me. So the day it has happened, it actually took me, some time to absorb it. Whenever I switch from mother to a principal, I enter in my premises, I see myself the same girl who passed out from the college and who really wanted to be somewhere in a corporate world, by perhaps leading one of the companies as HR, or maybe any role. As a principal here, you have a whole responsibility. You need to be a role model for your team. Then your children are there. You really need to develop the kind of bond where they'll be feeling comfortable. Rather, your gates are always open. Keep the door open. You should be approachable. So I
Yes.
think the dream which I saw in the my childhood has actually took place, but yeah, in a different role. A leader has to be there, be it in any of the corporate world or in education world. So I think I'm living my dream.
So, if not principal, then what else?
I think I must have been running some corporate world agency as one of the, yes, as one of the leader, of course, because I had my great knack in I'm from commerce background, so I really wanted to go for MBA, and I really wanted to lead a company, but then God had their plans. I landed up to be a teacher, but there also I really had the thing in me, so I've taken this opportunity.
What is your go to line when someone says, "Can I talk to you for 2 minutes?" But it's never 2 minutes.
After 4 o'clock, I feel I can give a hearty hearing to anyone and everyone, because I feel in this world where we all are so much stressed out, we are really packed and we are really busy. We do not get time for our own self.
Mhm.
And if somebody is calling me and hoping to be heard for 2 minutes, I can give at least 20.
Okay. If students ran the school for one day, what chaos do you predict?
No classes will going to have any subject periods. All will be found either in music room, dance room, recording room, or in canteen. And of
Sports
course, my
ground.
sports ground will be bustling with all the sports equipments being kept anywhere, everywhere, and they will going to have their hearty time enjoying it, their day out.
If your coffee could speak, what would it say to you every morning?
Time to charge up.
Okay. Have you ever given a pep talk so good you wanted to clap for yourself?
Always.
Always. That's great. Wonderful. If you were a school bag, what three items would always be inside you?
If I would be a school bag, I would like to hold, rather, I would like to carry one water bottle and one notepad, and yeah, one, of course, pen to write whatever I feel like. Because, the school bag without books certainly would going to be a dream school bag for everyone. It would be mine also.
Which Bollywood character would make a terrible teacher and why?
I think all Bollywood actors are great teachers. The way they project their role, it's not easy.
Yes.
At the back, you will going to see tremendous hard work, rehearse, and umpteen numbers of rehearsals.
Yes.
A single dialogue with the way they project it on the screen must have gone and taken up lot of takes. So they all are the teachers. They all are the personification of hard work always pays. They have made it, and everybody should be respected for that.
How does mentorship differ from you are guiding students versus guiding teachers?
Totally different. I would say when we guide the teachers, we do hand holding, but they have to figure out their own avenues. They have multiple options, and their space of experiment and experiences more wider. But when you see the children in your school, in your classroom, those 6 to 7 hours, it's very crucial for each and every child. So I feel they should be given a lot of tailor-made kind of experiences, wherein a lot of hard work is to be invested by the teachers, so that they will value, they will learn, and they will grow. And everything cannot be projected with the, I would say, the picture can't be rosy every time. So when you are giving all these strengths, you need to make them aware about the shortcomings, about the weaknesses, and to combat that,
Yes, of course.
isn't it?
Yes.
So it's totally different. But yeah, as a leader, you have to mentor both. The spaces can be different, but the goal is one. They both should grow. They both should be ready to face the world.
What is your take on digital versus physical classroom in post pandemic India?
If you ask me, I would certainly going to be really thankful that pandemic has given us the digital space to explore rather at the time when COVID
Absolutely.
broke.
Yes.
I had got an opportunity to explore those areas which I have never thought of. As a teacher, I've experimented a lot. I have explored a lot. Those digital, assignments or different applications which we have downloaded, rather the free versions were really a great deal at that time. Once the COVID wrapped up, now I see that that knowledge should be used in the classroom to leverage the learning.
Yes.
So, physical classroom is an ideal classroom, of course. You need a teacher to talk, to connect, and somewhere that human touch has to be there. But
Yes.
that teacher and the learner both should be readily using this digital space to make themselves more and more developed, or rather that encouragement of learning should be there. So it both should go hand in hand.
Any message for our viewers?
Well, being a principal, I would say the message would going to be that each and every child is special. They have got their own abilities, they have got their own capabilities. We need to celebrate, and let's create a happy space in your workplaces, be it the classroom, be it for teachers, be it for students. Because these 6 to 7 hours which we spend with them, that is what they all have. Their entire life, or rather the entire day, is all based on how they were being treated.
Yeah, we are
So spread
shaping
happiness.
them actually
Yes,
in that way.
so spread happiness, and just focus that the goal of life is to bring happiness in others'
Yes,
life.
that is Anandmaya
Like,
Kosha.
absolutely.
So thank you so very much.
Pleasure to speak to you. It was really heart to heart. So nothing fancy, and being a leader, being a principal, and I'm also a learner. So we are learning every day. This was also one of the
Yes.
learning take. Thank you.
Teachers are always a learner.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was one of those conversations where you walk in with a notebook and walk out with a whole vision board. And if there is one thing I'm taking away today, it is this: great leaders don't just guide, they ignite. Thank you so much, Priya ma'am, for lighting that spark in every corner you walk into. And to all our viewers, do subscribe to our channel, Voice of Leadership by Orange House. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep leading with your whole heart. Till then, bye bye.